Welcome to Reddit Reads r/ProRevenge. Our first Reddit post is from Personal Distance. Call me a terrorist and threaten my pay. Enjoy your nuked careers, you heathens. I used to work in hospitality in a metro known for its obscenely huge tourist population. You know, the city built around the mouse. TL Drive. Boss makes racist joke and threatens my annual pay raise. Two other stooges get themselves involved, and a few months later, I get all three of their asses fired the same day. I was a manager for the recreational division of the hotel. As we are talking, she abruptly stops and says, "By the way, you need to shave your beard. You look like a terrorist and I don't employ terrorists." Haha, funny joke between colleagues, right? No. So one day, my boss, who we'll call Mary for the purpose of the story, comes into the shared manager's office and starts rummaging around for something, and strikes up a small conversation about work-related minutiae with me. It's important to note she is actually 2 tiers above me, but was acting as head of the department while searching to replace my previous boss, who recently quit. Great guy, by the way. Huge loss to the company. I am half Indian, and I do look Middle Eastern, and have been taking this kind of shit since middle school. Plus, we're not close at all. My jaw dropped so low, I could taste the floor. You would think it was an easy fix, right? Go to HR and all. So I reply as calmly as I can muster, "Hey, I get you're trying to be funny, but on my end it comes off as pretty ignorant." She's made rude comments like this before. I explicitly ask him not to mention it to anyone. I've refrained from contacting HR because I didn't want to be petty, but now she threatened my pay, and that's no bueno. So I go to HR like a good boy and tell the HR director, who we'll call Boyd. Well, Boyd decided that he simply must talk to Mary about it. I stress again that I am not comfortable with it, since she strikes me as the vindictive type. No good. Nothing substantial, but odd. About a week goes by, and I follow up with Boyd because I've been getting some less than pleasant vibes from Mary. He promises there will be no retaliation and tells me he'll contact me later for a statement, which I thought was weird. Why not make a statement now? And that was that. When I ask what happened, he tells me, well, it appears that Mary was just joking, but she has agreed to never say anything like that again. Your annual review is not in jeopardy. Ook. At that point, I decide to just let it go. Ok, cool. Fast forward a month. A new director for our department is hired, and surprise, it's her roommate and former front desk supervisor, Joe. I'm used to the nepotism because the entire hotel basically operates that way. Whatever. Never had an issue with him. Didn't know him too well, but I'm happy our little hive. From the get-go, he is unpleasant. Man, how fucking naive I was. Snide comments left and right, changing my schedule at the last minute every week, or scheduling me on my established days off, giving away opportunities to my peers that I'm never considered for, making me take improvement classes none of my peers have to take. All strange, but up to that point nothing earth-shattering. Until one day I get written up out of the blue, first ever write-up, for refusing to inform a superior of leaving the premises, referring to me leaving the day prior without literally saying the words, "Hey Joe, I'm leaving for the day." This is not an established policy, written or otherwise. When I say I'm leaving, it's a courtesy. 2, I know for a fact my peers don't always say when they leave, personal observation, and was corroborated by them after asking around. 3, knowing that my peers aren't held to the same bogus standard, and having never been written up for it, I know this is a direct shot at me. My review is fucked. That was fuck up too, lady. Best part. 3 came when Boyd decided to cover his onus when I approached him, with all the evidence pointing to retaliation and discrimination in the workplace. I learned he never properly documented his discussion with me or Mary, and that he's been basically playing the whole fucking thing by ear. I decided to write my long past due statement then, and there turn it in, and email a picture copy to the corporate office. He was very flippant about the whole thing. rolling his eyes and everything. I tell Boyd that I am sorely disappointed about how he handled the issue, and he responds by accusing me of dramatizing the whole ordeal. "Hey, buddy, I see you now." So finally, we've reached the revenge. After some time, I scrounge up all the evidence I can. Next step, I tell off Joe because fuck him. My coworkers write up records with their permission, company policy manuals, my schedules for the past month including the bogus classes only I was made to attend, my coworkers' schedules, witness statements from peers when Mary has said other demeaning things, and a few others items. I make sure he is very angry when I leave. You'll see why later. After crossing my T's and dotting my I's, I resigned with a 2-week notice. That night I type up a letter to the EEOC and attach all my evidence. I mention Mary, Boyd, and Joe by first and last name. I hint that I am pondering a lawsuit. A few weeks later, I have my girlfriend call my old job, pretending to be a potential employer asking for a reference. I give her the extension to Joe's desk. As I predicted, he slanders the ever-loving shit out of me, straight up lies, even got my resignation date wrong along with my attendance record, all verifiable, helping my case. I tried the same trick with Boyd, but he was smart enough to point my GF in the direction of a third-party reference dialer the company is supposed to use for these kinds of calls. I proceeds to send my old employer corporate included a cease and desist letter with a transcript of the call, hinting I may sue for slander. The result: some time passes, and the other day I'm at the bank with my GF. I get a call from an old coworker. I miss the call, but I resign to call him back later. Less than an hour later, I get 56 calls and texts informing me that Mary, Joe, and Boyd were all fired the same day and walked out of the building. Mary cried. Apparently, the corporate office was contacted by the EEOC and launched their own internal investigation matching their records with my evidence. Karma may be a bitch, but in this case, she had nothing to fucking do with it. Edit: sorry I wasn't clear. I didn't work for Disney. The EEOC sent me a return letter with the company's statement, which was fallacious as fuck due to their interviews with the Three Stooges, but nonetheless I suppose they decided it was easier to nip it in the bud and sack their asses to be safe. My city is just basically built around Disney. Sorry about the confusion. This comment is from Pinkster. Well done documenting the bejesus out of everything, and dropping the hammer definitely paid off. I'm sort of sad that in the end you didn't benefit much from it as you were out of job, but there's nothing more satisfying than doing the walk away with a smug look on your face when the explosion happens behind you thing. This comment is from Bugalut. Outstanding. And a quick reminder for everyone: HR does not work for you. They are not your advocate regardless of what they might say. Their objective is to look out for the interests of the company. This comment is from RandomsLayer55. Documenting everything like Op did is critical for an outcome in your favor. That was a great ProRevenge. Did they offer your position back? Now, a word from today's sponsor. Make sure to donate to my Patreon down in the description below to get early access to videos, participate in special patron-only events, and other goodies. Any amount of money is greatly appreciated. It makes it easier for me to make the content that I love making, and I know you guys love too. Now back to the video. Our next Reddit post is from Dictionary. Killing a toxic coworker's hopes, dreams, and future. Names changed for anonymity happened a few years back. This is a long one, so TL drive at the bottom. Background: I got a job working for a small hardware company. 4 people in the office, a few in the warehouse, and a delivery driver. The owner was a pretty nice guy, let's call him Ray. Ray took over the family business in the early 2000s. Nothing fancy, but it got me off the night shift and onto a desk. Like most small business owners, he was pretty frugal. The job came with absolutely 0 perks. 10 vacation days that doubled as sick days, no insurance, everyone was hourly, and Ray hated paying out. He had one large customer that accounted for about half his business, and everything after that was profit. He had gotten to the point where the business was doing well enough to support his comfortable Life 103 schedule, 4 weeks vacation season baseball tickets, and had zero interest in growing it beyond that point. But my problem was not with Ray, it was with the absolute bitch in the purchasing department. The players 4 people in the office meant that every part of this business fell to one of us. Ray was the owner. He negotiated large-scale orders both with customers and suppliers. Sarah was our admin receptionist, sweet as pie. I was in charge of order processing and logistics, and I did quite a bit of work revamping the company website. Ingrid Akabich Supreme handled small-scale purchasing and most of the other customers. Ingrid was a living nightmare sent to punish all mankind for our hubris. She was trash, plain and simple. She had the personality of a one-dimensional Stephen King character that would be whipping an unruly mob into a frenzy. She was also the most spiteful, hat-filled, vindictive gorgon to ever walk God's green earth. She was a born-again Christian, so because she went to church every Sunday she thought she could do no wrong. Ingrid, for whatever reason, disliked me from my first day. I don't know if she saw me as a threat or was just having a mood swing. I'm no psychologist, but I'm 98 sure she was bipolar, but she was not happy about my joining the company. She kept it civil at first. Ingrid loved to gossip at anybody who would listen, and since I was always at my desk, I made for a captive audience. Everything she said was vile and mean-spirited, and most of it was blatant projection. She would complain about which actresses she didn't like because they were too fat. Ingrid was easily north of the 300-pound mark, or had an annoying voice. Ingrid had a slight lisp. She would thump her Bible to the tune of how the gays were trying to destroy the sanctity of marriage, all in just the worst person I've ever had to work with. She would tell stories about how she was with her son at the grocery store, and he yelled at a Polish woman to speak American or get out of the country like she was proud of it. In spite of all that, I felt I could just ignore Ingrid's bullshit and do my job, but then she started focusing her dislike of me into petty hatred. The spiral downward. Ingrid would take anything and everything personally. She didn't like that. If I didn't say good morning to her, she would complain to Ray that I was being rude. Ray knew she had a screw loose, so he dismissed it. She started trying to frame me for not entering orders that she claimed to have given me a week ago. I quickly put that shit to bed by data stamping every order that came across my desk and checking with her, Ray, and Sarah for new orders every hour on the hour. She made the connection between the businesses, and Ray gave her a decent commission from it. Every time something went wrong, her knee-jerk reaction was to blame me and throw me under the bus. The breaking point: one of our larger customers bought from us because their purchaser was a friend of Ingrid's. I had met through a friend of a friend the purchaser from another large manufacturing company that uses products very similar to ours. Ray told me if I could get them to submit a sample order, he would give me the same kind of commission. That it was all on me because drumming up new business was extra work that he didn't want to do. Finally, I got the purchaser to agree to submit the order. I rode my desk hard, my phone, my email, chasing this lead like a hungry dog. Now, like I said, this job had no perks, so any shot at extra cash was a godsend. I was over the moon. Enter Ingrid. I don't hear back from the purchaser ever. Sarah was on vacation, so Ingrid had taken over front desk duties for the week. This whole time she was pouring doubt and skepticism over the entire venture. Really, she just didn't want anybody else to achieve what she had. Eventually, I get a hold of him a month later and ask when he was going to send the sample order. He told me that he had called a few weeks back and that the lady he spoke to said that our company didn't have the capacity to supply what they wanted. I asked him what day he called. Turns out it was during the week Ingrid was answering phones. Try to make me look bad at work? Screw you, I'll rise above it. Act like human garbage, whatever. I don't care. Sabotage my chance for a substantial raise. Now you've awoken the dragon. I was trying to save up for a down payment on a house, and Ingrid thinks she can put my future on hold. Nope. Not happening. Ingrid was about as smart as she was skinny, kind-hearted, and pleasant. I vowed that vengeance would be mine. The revenge Ingrid had been taking online and night courses at a local community college because she wanted to become a therapist. I wish I was making that up, and was currently working towards her associate's degree. She often did her class work in the office after Ray had left for the day. One day she asks me if I can take an online quiz for her. This was followed by an earth science quiz, and I can't lie. But then she says something that I'm sure I've never heard her say before. Please. Now I'm still furious at her for tanking my commission, so I'm not about to do her any favors. Freeze frame record scratch. I need to process that sentence. I can't lie was clearly beluga shit because she lied to my purchaser. It also was a huge paradox because here she was asking me to take a test for her. She needed someone who knew and understood what the Cretaceous period was to pass a test, keep her from failing. But she didn't mean any of that. She meant, I can't lie and deny my faith on an earth science quiz because I believe that the earth was created in literally 7 days and is only about 6,000 years old, and humans lived at the same time as dinosaurs. And just like that, I had my plan on a silver platter. Sure, I could tank the test, and she would have to repeat the class, and that would be inconvenient. I opted for the latter. I told her that I would take that test and any other for $20. Earth Science 101, Spanish 101, Intro to Psychology. A therapist that couldn't even pass an intro-level psyche class. God help us all. Quizzes, tests. I ended up making 200 by the end of the semester. Then she comes to me with the request I've been waiting for. It's laughable. 5 pages, double-spaced. Doesn't even need to be AMA. Hey Dick, I need to write a research paper. Do you know how to do that? 50 later, and I have the assignment in front of me. An 8th grader could pound it out in an hour or two, but lazy stupid bitches will be lazy stupid bitches. Now around this time I had gotten an offer from a much larger company downtown and was going to put in my 2 weeks once Ray got back from one of his many vacations. I had an opportunity to ruin her life and an exit strategy. I set to work. I changed nothing but the name and the date. I literally Googled research paper for class name and grabbed the first one that popped up. I put in my 2 weeks, and the week before I leave I give Ingrid her paper. She doesn't even proofread it. She just turns it in and goes along her merry way. What happened next I heard secondhand from Sarah after I left. The professor immediately knew it was plagiarized and got the dean involved. Ingrid was so stupid that she even tried to use the truth as an excuse. I didn't plagiarize that paper. The guy I had been paying to do all my coursework did it. She was expelled from the institution for academic dishonesty and plagiarism, barred from any of the satellite schools or affiliate programs, and refused a refund on her tuition. Her dream of becoming a therapist shattered into dust, as all of the nearby community colleges were part of the affiliate program. She was financially ruined, left with no savings and a semester of student loan debt. On my last day, I made sure to poke my head into her office to say thank you, Ingrid, for everything I learned from you while working here. I hope you learned something from me as well. This comment is from Mark Nifone. As a guy who once went to a therapist for clinical depression, TL Drive psycho snatch basket coworker tries to get me fired and ruins a business venture. I get her to pay me to have her expelled and crush her dreams. Her kind of therapy would be the key to my successful suicide. This comment is from Rot. This comment is from Lost My Password Again. Whoa. This needs to be higher up. Ray didn't care that Ingrid was actively sabotaging his business by turning down potential customers, or did you not tell him? I'm curious about this as well. That was Reddit Reads r/ProRevenge. If you like this content, please subscribe and click the bell icon so you are notified of new uploads. We upload new videos every day. Also subscribe to our Patreon, as that will help us a lot. See you next time.